Good afternoon. Time is ticking to pick up those last-minute gifts and holiday essentials before most stores close early tonight.
Now be patient trying to find a parking spot at malls across the city as shoppers race to cross off the remaining items on their list. CTV's Beth McDonnell joins us now live from the Yorkdale Shopping Centre with more. Beth, how are the crowds?
Nathan, Raheem, excitement is building. And you know what? The crowds here at Yorkdale Mall aren't too bad. It's pretty quiet at the moment. It's pretty free-flowing. I'm not seeing too many long lines, except at Tim Hortons, where people are going to need that coffee to get all that last-minute shopping done. Most of the people we've been speaking with have had a list. They're trying to come in, get out, and get what they need so they can get home to their families.
The plan is get in early if you haven't already done that. We are open till 5, so you can squeak in some shopping before the end of the day. We're expecting about the same amount of shoppers this year as in previous years. You will notice that today we'll probably start to build. We'll taper off around 3 o'clock, and then we're gearing up for Boxing Day.
Every year, same routine, last minute, run, shop, and done, you know?
Did you get everything you wanted? And
Not yet. I just got here. I'm going to get few more stuff. My daughter gave me the whole list.
It's on the list. What do you need to get done right now?
That was it. That was the last one. That was the last one.
It looks like a very special one.
Yeah, but I've been here like 3 times this week.
Oh my gosh, last time we were here, it was like, took us an hour to get out of the parking garage. I was scared, very scared. But it's not as bad as I thought, so it's pretty good.
Yorkdale says they have 8,000 parking lots, and parking attendants will be on duty tonight and over the coming days. And of course, if you can't get any of those last-minute items, there's just one-day break. People can come right back here on Boxing Day. Reporting live, I'm Beth McDonnell. Nathan and Raheem, back to you.
All right, thank you, Beth. Well, there's some good news if you're relying on GO trains to get home quicker today to start your holiday celebrations. GO's adding some extra service today on the Milton and Richmond Hill lines from Union Station. On the Milton line, 2 additional trips are being added, leaving Union Station at 1:40 p.m. and 2:40 p.m. On the Richmond Hill line, an additional train will depart Union at 2:45 this afternoon. Metrolinx wants to remind you all rides will be free on GO Transit and Up Express service on New Year's Eve.
And there are changes to keep in mind on the TTC as well over the holidays. For today, it's just regular service. As for Christmas Day, TTC will run on a Sunday schedule with most surface routes and subways rolling out at 8 a.m. On Friday, that's Boxing Day, bus and subways will still run on a Sunday schedule, but the service will start a bit earlier at 6 a.m. Regular weekend service will resume Saturday and Sunday.
Meanwhile, a new report from the transit agency says ridership this fall was slightly under expectations, with calls for more people to return to the office full-time. The TTC struggled to return to pre-pandemic levels in recent years. The report suggests for the coming year, the TTC is projecting more than 426 million riders. And that's an increase of 3% over the estimated ridership of 414 million in 2025.
We'll have more news in a moment, but first here's a live look at the city this afternoon. Plenty of sunshine as we bring in Jessica Smith with a look at the current conditions. And Jess, a nice change compared to yesterday with all the clouds.
You know, and that sunshine really helps boost the mood. I know it's a busy day, especially for the last-minute shoppers, folks traveling today. Lots of sunshine and above seasonal. So if you are making your way out and about across really the majority of southern Ontario, it's quite nice for today, but things do change in the next couple of days. We've seen a lot of that snow melt, so not necessarily a white Christmas for everybody, but the good news is if you like the snow, it is coming. You just have to wait a few days. Temperature-wise, holding on above seasonal across a good portion of southern Ontario today. A little cooler the further east you go, but overall the GTA staying quite mild, and we'll have a nice southerly wind as we head in towards the afternoon and evening. Now, right now, we're holding on about +1 through the islands, a little cooler through Pearson tonight, holding on at -3. We're staying above seasonal, but winds will change just a little, and there's the chance of some active weather tonight and heading in towards Boxing Day. Coming up, a full look at your long-range forecast. We'll break it all down, but right now, I'll send things back over to Nathan.
All right, thank you, Jessica.
Thanks.
A heads up for commuters. The stretch of the eastbound 401 remains closed this hour after a serious crash this morning in Pickering. All eastbound lanes between Whites Road and Brock Road remain closed because of a crash involving a transport truck before 4:30 this morning. Now, police say this crash then led to a second collision involving the transport truck driver and another passenger vehicle. The driver of the transport truck's been taken to hospital with life-threatening injuries. The investigation remains ongoing. There's been no word on when the lanes will reopen to traffic.
Two people are in hospital after a car crashed into an LRT pole on Eglinton yesterday. It happened just before 7:30 near Eglinton and Don Mills. Officers say the vehicle struck a pole on the Eglinton Crosstown LRT track. The occupants of the vehicle were reported to have been trapped. Paramedics say two men were taken to a trauma center with serious injuries, but they're expected to survive. The cause of the crash is under investigation. And one person has been arrested after fleeing the scene of a rollover crash yesterday in the city's West End. 3 vehicles were involved in the collision on St. Clair Avenue east of Jane Street and Mold Avenue around 6:30. One vehicle flipped, and police say the driver of that vehicle fled the scene on foot, but later returned and was arrested. There's been no word on any possible charges. The other drivers remained at the scene. One passenger was taken to hospital with minor injuries.
Police are still searching for suspects after one person was found dead following a shooting near U of T's Scarborough campus last night. A person was found suffering from gunshot wounds around 3:30 p.m. in a wooded area in the Highland Creek Valley near the university's campus. The adult victim, whose age and gender have not been released, died at the scene. The campus was briefly placed on lockdown but was quickly lifted as police believe the shooting to be an isolated incident and there's no threat to the university. But the fatal shooting has left the campus community on edge.
It was kind of shocking that this happened in this neighborhood, and it's not something that happens very frequently, you know. So yes, it was pretty shocking and kind of terrifying a little bit, but I think the campus security did a really excellent job to try to make everybody else feel safe and keep us updated on like what the status is.
They deemed it was an isolated incident, so I suppose the rest of the campus is safe. I don't know, I guess I'm just focusing on hoping that the person who passed away, their family is okay and there are no more incidents like this, I guess.
Anybody with information is asked to contact Toronto Police.
Fire crews battled a 2-alarm blaze in Brampton overnight. Flames broke out in the basement of a home just after midnight. Brampton Fire says all occupants were able to get out of the house and the fire is now under control. No injuries were reported, and the cause of the blaze is under investigation. Well, it's been nearly a month since hundreds of residents at 2 Thorncliffe Park condo buildings have been displaced from their homes due to a stubborn fire burning in the walls.
The fire is now out, but residents still haven't been given the all clear to return home, meaning they'll be spending the holidays elsewhere. But one hotel is trying to make their Christmas a little brighter. CTV's Allison Hirsch joins us now live from the Toronto Don Valley Hotel that's hosting a holiday lunch for displaced residents this afternoon. Allison.
Nathan, yes, and you can see a number of them here behind me, all getting ready to dig into a holiday lunch with all the trimmings for a turkey lunch today that the staff have put together for them. All of them here still staying as they wait for word on when they could possibly return to their homes. Residents, as you mentioned, have been out of their homes since November 27th when a fire broke out and took more than 2 weeks to extinguish. Crews dealt with a challenging and stubborn fire that was burning between the walls of 2 condo buildings at 11 Thorncliffe Park and 21 Overlea Boulevard, impacting more than 400 units. Now they wait as third-party engineers assess the damage to the buildings when they're forced to spend the holidays out of their homes.
We had a feeling, about a week ago that they were going to be here for the holidays. So the staff got together, I've got a really great staff that really have a lot of heart, and they wanted to do something for the residents. They wanted to put together something. So, we reached out to some vendors. We reached out to the chef and asked him if he would cook for us. And, so we've got a nice lunch buffet we're going to do for them. Traditional turkey, with all the trimmings and lovely desserts and stuff. And then as you can see behind me, we're just putting it out now. This is only a small fraction of it, but we've got a lot of gifts and we're going to do some draws. I think maybe Santa's going to visit as well. So it was really to just try and take away from the stress of this, at least for a day, and give them some kind of Christmas.
So we've just moved over where you can see everybody is now starting to get some of that lunch and dig in for the festivities here today. They're still waiting for word as to when they can get back into their buildings. Officials have said that it'll probably be a phased-in approach just based on the damage to those 2 condo buildings, and they still have not told us any cause. Reporting live, I'm Allison Hurst. Nathan, back to you.
All right, thank you, Allison. Police have released an image of a woman wanted in a suspected hate-motivated mischief investigation. Police are searching for this woman who was last seen December 21st wearing earmuffs, a long black coat, brown boots, and a white and brown scarf. Investigators say between July 3rd and last Sunday, they responded to numerous calls for reports of graffiti at various TTC stations. It's reported the suspect vandalized property by writing anti-Indian hate messages in stations and on subway cars. Anybody with information is asked to call police.
New information is coming to light about the relationship between U.S. President Donald Trump and sex offender Jeffrey Epstein.
It comes after the latest release of documents concerning Epstein, which also detail how investigators wanted to question a former prince about his ties to a Canadian fashion mogul. CTV's Abigail Beeman has the details.
The document dump is 30,000 pages, including a 2020 letter from American authorities to UK counterparts requesting help questioning the former Prince Andrew in connection with two separate sex trafficking investigations, Jeffrey Epstein and convicted Canadian fashion executive Peter Nygard. Investigators wanted details from the ex-prince about his relationship with Epstein, the names of any females he met through Epstein or Ghislaine Maxwell, and similarly his relationship with Nygard, details of any trips he took to the Bahamas estate called Nygard Key, and names of any females he met through Nygard or at Nygard Key.
This is very, very real, very active still. Even though Peter Nygard himself is serving a lengthy sentence in Canada, survivors, many of them are still serving those sentences of pain, shame, and everything that comes along with having survived sexual assault.
The letter says Prince Andrew is not presently a target of the investigations and there is no evidence he committed any crime.
It's deeply embarrassing, but it obviously justifies the action that has been taken by the king in extraordinarily removing his princely title.
Also part of the document release, an email saying U.S. President Donald Trump traveled on Epstein's private jet many more times than previously reported, and a disturbing letter purported to be written by Epstein to Larry Nassar in prison, the U.S. Olympics gymnastics team doctor convicted of sexual abuse. The Department of Justice later said the FBI determined the letter is fake.
Given the fact that the DOJ has done an exhaustive look at all of these documents to ensure the redactions, how could something like this be included?
The DOJ also posting in general, some of these documents contain untrue and sensationalist claims against the president.
Being on the defensive when it was really their job to release these documents, their job to properly redact victims' names that they completely failed to do.
What this whole thing is with Epstein is a way of trying to deflect from the tremendous success that the Republican Party has.
The slow leak of heavily redacted information has been criticized by both Epstein victims and lawmakers as the scandal continues to plague the president and Republicans ahead of the midterm elections in 2026. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
The U.S. and Ukraine have reportedly reached a consensus on key issues as part of a deal to end the nearly 4-year conflict with Russia. This comes as Moscow continues to strike. At least 4 people were hurt in a Russian attack on the Ukrainian city of Zaporizhzhia. Today, management of the nuclear plant there is one of the major issues that has not been resolved in the proposed plan. Ukraine is seeking security safeguards from international forces and the demilitarization of the Donetsk and Luhansk regions, which Russia has mostly taken over in its ongoing full-scale invasion. The Kremlin hasn't directly responded, but President Vladimir Putin recently said it was up to Ukraine to withdraw from the territory Russia now claims as its own. Kyiv has refused that ultimatum. Meanwhile, today, 3 people, including 2 police officers, were killed in an explosion in Moscow. Investigators say the blast happened not far from the same place where a Russian general was killed in a car bombing on Monday. Russia's investigative committee says the officers were approaching a suspicious individual when a device detonated. They were killed along with someone standing nearby. Authorities didn't say who was responsible for today's blast, but blamed Ukraine for Monday's incident.
After a years-long pause due to the war in Gaza, Bethlehem is celebrating Christmas Eve with a parade. The city in the occupied West Bank city is revered by Christians as the birthplace of Jesus. But Bethlehem hasn't held its traditional public Christmas celebrations for the past 2 years. while concern remains high around the precarious ceasefire now in place in Gaza. But now worshipers have been able to return from around the world to take part in the restored festivities.
A Montreal man is being hailed as a hero for entering a burning home to help his neighbors escape a devastating fire last month.
The man was seriously injured, but is now on the road to recovery and made his daughter's Christmas wish come true, returning home in time for the holidays. CTV's Sweeta Rassi has the story.
Paul Henry Sylvain is slowly starting to feel like his old self again and is finally able to have some quality time with his daughter.
Did you believe that I was going to be okay for Christmas?
Yes.
100%?
For 2 weeks, he was in a medically induced coma, and when he finally woke up, everything was a blur.
It took about 2 to 3 days to realize what had happened.
What happened began on November 15th in Lachine. Sylvain woke to a fire inside his home. His first instinct was to make sure all his neighbors got out of the building safely. After that, he ran back inside and tried to put out the fire. But Sylvain suffered serious injuries. Burns to his body, and his lungs and airway were badly affected. Sylvain doesn't like to talk about the fire, and he doesn't consider himself a hero.
Well, I kind of laugh at the hero thing. I just did I think I did anything that anybody would have done. I'm just happy everybody was safe.
His focus now is healing and making up for the time he lost.
I'm just really happy that I could take care of my daughter. That's my most important thing.
As Sylvain recovers, he's surrounded by friends and family. His biggest supporter, his 9-year-old daughter, Eva.
I knew he was going to be okay, so I was not really worried because I knew he was going to be okay.
All Eva wanted this Christmas was for her father to wake up, but doctors couldn't promise he would be released. Clearly, they underestimated Sylvain.
When I got out of bed, the nurse was like, "You can't walk." And as soon as I left the room, I started walking on my own, slowly and surely.
While there's still a long way to go, Sylvain will get to leave the hospital on Christmas Eve, meaning his daughter's wish will come true. Sweeta Rassi, CTV News, Montreal.
As many Canadians gather to take part in holiday traditions, Mark Carney has released his first ever Christmas message as Prime Minister.
Happy holidays, Canada. In a more divided and uncertain world, the holiday season is an opportunity to slow down, reflect, and focus on what really matters. This is a season of joy for families, and I hope you find time to rest, reconnect, and celebrate with the people that you love the most. For Christians, Christmas holds a special meaning. It's a time to celebrate the birth of Jesus, to rejoice in the light that he brings, and to recommit to follow his example of service, forgiveness, and generosity. For Canadians of all traditions, the holidays remind us that there can be hope after despair, that light follows darkness. This is a time to remember those in need of comfort, those struggling to get by, those grieving a loved one. A time to help with a call, a visit, or an act of kindness that reminds someone that they are not alone. And although this year has brought more than its share of challenges to our country, we've also been reminded that we are fortunate to be part of one extraordinary, generous, and caring nation. That we're strongest when we're united, when we look out for each other, when we take care of each other. Merry Christmas and happy holidays, Canada, from my family to yours.
Well, it's a busy travel day and the forecast agreeable if you want to head out on the roads or you're just going to stay put inside. We're staying above seasonal today with a very light wind, making it a picture-perfect day to at least get out. Maybe not so much when it comes to playing in the snow, but that is going to come as we head in towards the next couple of days. We'll hang around the freezing mark this afternoon. A bit of a wind chill, but very manageable with very, very light winds. We are, though, watching another system coming through in time for Boxing Day. We'll break it down in a few minutes. All your forecast details after the break.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400 from your screen to ours. Text 10400.
All right, time is running out, of course, to finish any last-minute Christmas shopping. But I say there's plenty of time. There's several hours. And the
several hours.
And empty.
Malls are closed. You can go to a gas station. Everybody loves a little air freshener. No issues,
like
Jess.
little, the like meat sticks or,
Lucky significant others we have.
Or just the presence is me. I am the gift. Is my presence is your present. Great day though. If you have last minute shopping to do, or you're just going to say, I'll do it on Boxing Day. We're holding on to lots of sunshine today. We're above seasonal, and we're holding off from the active weather for the bulk of our day today. So if you do have to get out or you're traveling, the forecast is agreeable for now. Weather is brought to you by the Presler Law Firm. Injury lawyers, you don't pay unless they win. Lots of sunshine, a nice change from a gloomy few days. If you wanted to get out for that, Christmas Eve skate at Nathan Phillips Square, one of the many city-run rinks across the GTA, it's a beautiful day to do so, and we're not contending with winds that are too strong, so that wind chill isn't so much of a factor. But as we head through the overnight, we are watching for the chance of maybe some light flurries or some freezing rain. But the next big system comes in on Boxing Day. So if you do have plans to go out, do a little shopping, maybe give yourself extra time or save it for another day. Temperature-wise, sitting at -1, feeling like -5. We're relatively mild in southern and southwestern Ontario. The further east you go for our friends in Ottawa, it is quite cool, and the same for anybody kind of north of North Bay. As we head into the afternoon, though, throughout southern Ontario, the GTA proper, we're sitting at or just above the freezing mark in quite a few places. 0 here in the city of Toronto. The norm is -1, so we're pretty much right where we should be. A really light southerly wind this afternoon, so again, quite pleasant for getting out and about if you do have any travel plans today. Tonight, dropping down to -3. Again, a bit of a wind chill, but overall pretty comfortable. Again, a little cooler the further east you go, and winds will become kind of more northerly overnight tonight, and it gets a little cooler into the day on Thursday. But no massive systems. We're holding on to a ton of high pressure as we head throughout the rest of our day today and into a good portion of the day tomorrow. It's as we head in towards Boxing Day where we see another system come in, bringing freezing rain for some and snow for others. So plan accordingly. But for your day today, honestly, it is really nice outside right across central southern Ontario, at least when it comes to the conditions. Temperature-wise, a little cooler the further east you go. Not much going on in the way of anything to write home about throughout your Thursday. It's as we get in towards your Friday where we start to see things change just a little as another system right now kind of cooking up in the prairies makes its way across. We are looking at freezing rain through Windsor towards kind of that border with London. For the GTA, watching more in the way of snow right for that kind of lunch hour rush. And this sticks with us through a good portion of the afternoon and into the evening. So keep that in mind. It doesn't really leave the GTA until we get in towards the beginning of the weekend. But overall, at least we have sunshine today and throughout the bulk of our day tomorrow. But that temperature drop as winds become northwesterly Thursday night is sharp. So it gets really cold as we head into your Thursday, and that -10 is before you factor in any kind of a wind chill. We get into Boxing Day. Again, we're watching for fairly heavy snow, really beginning kind of midday and then right through to the evening. We get a bit of a break as we head in towards your Saturday and Sunday. The sunshine finally returns to wrap up the weekend, but it is short-lived as we head in towards next week and a cool down begins again. Hopefully this helps you plan. I'll send things back to Nathan and Raheem.
All right. Thank you, Jess.
Thanks.
Well, if your kids love those soft, squishy fidget toys, the ones you squeeze for stress relief, you might want to take a closer look.
A new investigation has found some of the toys can break open and leak liquids that can be dangerous. CTV's Pat Foran explains.
Loved by kids, these bright, colorful squishy balls are often marketed as calming sensory tools, but there is a troubling trend. Hundreds of one-star reviews on Amazon saying the toys popped within an hour or broke within 2 hours of playing with it. The sticky gel from some toys left kids with red, irritated, or peeling skin. Reports on the website saferproducts.gov claim children suffered severe skin irritation after their squishy toys burst open.
Breakage alone is a concern, but when we saw reports of kids with red or peeling skin and even chemical burn-like injuries, that really raised serious questions, and it made us want to take a look at what's inside of these.
Companies don't have to list the ingredients of what's inside these squishy toys. Consumer Reports tested some of them to learn more about what they're made of.
Scientists bought 8 squishy gel toys, broke them open, and tested the pH of the gel inside. 7 had a neutral pH. One of them, the Nido Groovy Glob, had a pH level of 2, which is as acidic as lemon juice or vinegar.
That level of acidity could pose a risk of chemical burns, especially on children's delicate skin. Schilling, the maker of Nido, challenged the findings and said the inner gel is made of polyvinyl alcohol, which is safe for skin contact. The company said after selling 100 million Nido toys, there have only been 4 reports of incidents to the Consumer Product Safety Commission. TikTok trends have been encouraging people to microwave squishy toys to make them softer. Don't do that. Testers found some toys exploded after just 15 seconds, reaching temperatures above 200 degrees, which could cause instant burns.
Never microwave or freeze them. Don't leave them in the car. Don't give gel-filled toys to babies or toddlers.
And if one does break on your child's skin, wash it off right away and throw the toy out. Pat Foran, CTV News.
Green products are quickly growing into becoming a big success for businesses.
CTV's Carol Charles tells us about a new local company encouraging consumers to choose wisely for the environment and your pocketbook.
From eco-friendly essentials.
So reusable paper towel is a really easy and convenient thing to use, and what's really great about it is that one of these squares will actually replace 17 rolls of paper towel, so you're saving a ton of waste, and they're great for the holiday season. You've got lots of people in and around your home and possibly lots of spills happening. These will easily clean up your spills.
To a wide collection of sustainable bath and body products, beauty essentials, and natural remedies.
I can smell it. Oh.
And refillable kitchen goods.
You can bring your own containers from home to refill, and you can also buy as little or as much as you want. I think it's important because it's just one extra step to really reducing waste.
Laura Newton manages the newly opened Kind Matter Company, the 5,000 square foot retailer of low waste and no waste products, located at the Heartland Town Center in Mississauga.
We ensure that nothing here has any synthetic fragrance, no synthetic dyes, no phthalates, no parabens, no SLS. So really all those really toxic ingredients that you will find in even some natural products out there on the market.
With the holiday season upon us, consider greening your routine. With the potential for leftovers, try an alternate to saran wrap.
The great thing about beeswax wraps is that they will help prolong the life of your food. They act like the natural skin of a fruit or vegetable, which will allow the oxygen to be let in, but also for the moisture to be let out.
And candles set the festive mood.
You want to make sure that you're choosing a candle that is essential oil scented and has a clean burning wax. These ones that we have, if you can see here, actually have a wooden wick. So when you light it, it makes this beautiful little crackle noise in the background, which is really lovely.
The Kind Matter Company is home to almost 100 Canadian vendors, all selected for their commitment to health and wellness of people and the planet. Ayrto Ruales, representing Chocosol, is happy to have a space to showcase his product.
Chocolate has the main amino acid that your body needs, high antioxidant. It's a superfood that you can find in different places, and we're focused to import, in this case, cacao from our producers in the Americas, mainly in Mexico, Ecuador, and Dominican Republic.
Beyond retail, the company serves as a community hub to learn and discuss sustainability. Carol Charles, CTV News.
Still ahead on CTV News, politicians, musicians, and actors. We have the list of the top searched Canadians of 2025. That's after the break.
The federal government is planning to release a strategy on men's and boys' health in the new year. Advocates have been calling for a strategy to address issues that prevent men from getting the care they need. A report from the advocacy group Movember and researchers at the University of British Columbia found 75,000 men died prematurely in 2023. The report found many of the deaths were from preventable causes. It also found a majority of men delayed seeking treatment for symptoms, and less than half felt listened to when they first received health care. Federal Health Minister Marjorie Michel says a strategy on men's health will encourage collaboration with other levels of government and other departments on issues including mental health, addiction, and public safety. Navigating the healthcare system can be an uphill battle, especially for those dealing with a rare medical condition.
For some, that can lead to the decision to seek treatment outside our borders. CTV's Alex Carpa spoke to one woman who made that difficult decision.
This is Cynthia Mitchell. She has been living with a very rare and aggressive form of bile duct cancer called cholangiocarcinoma.
I have metastatic cancer, which is in my liver,
suspected to be also in my lungs, my abdomen, and my lymph nodes.
Despite being told in 2021 that she only had 3 to 6 months to live, Mitchell is now at the 4.5-year mark living with this disease.
It's been quite the journey.
Throughout the past 4 years, Mitchell and her family have been working to keep the cancer at bay, but it's come at a cost. She says they have been forced to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars out of pocket for treatment across North America.
It's really hard knowing that something's out there and that you can't access it unless you're prepared to pay.
Around 500 Canadians are diagnosed with cholangiocarcinoma per year. The Canadian Cancer Society says rare cancers like this one are difficult to diagnose and treat, making it challenging for some to access specialized care.
There's often a problem with coordinating care. If it is rare, then it may be hard to find that specific specialist who's also involved in clinical trials.
After exhausting all available trials and treatment in Canada, Mitchell is now heading to Houston for a promising clinical trial, which is costing her family a great deal of money.
We really don't have time to continue to navigate the Canadian healthcare system.
Mitchell says she wants to see some changes to help Canadians living with rare diseases navigate the healthcare system better, including better access to drugs for rare cancers and financially help those accessing trials within Canada and out of country. Alex Carpa, CTV News, Winnipeg.
In sports, the Maple Leafs got a much-needed win heading into the Christmas break against the Pittsburgh Penguins during a rare matinee game.
Seconds of power play time for the Leafs again. Domi, what a goal! Max Domi, coast to coast.
With the game knotted at 3, Max Domi gave the Leafs the lead with a beautiful individual effort. This would end up being the game winner, with the Buds adding 2 empty netters to win 6-3, ending a 3-game losing streak. The Leafs return to action Saturday against the Ottawa Senators.
And the Toronto Scepters were on the ice last night hosting the Ottawa Charge. The Scepters got out to a 3-goal lead early in the second, but the Charge surged back with 4 unanswered goals, ultimately winning the game 4-3 in overtime. Toronto's back in action Saturday, visiting the Montreal Victoire.
And on the hard court, the Raptors were hoping some Miami sun would get them back in the win column.
16 second chance points to take away. Here's Scotty attacking right to the rim.
Toronto led most of the night and were up by 23 points in the fourth quarter on their way to a 112-91 victory. Scotty Barnes led the way with 27 points and 8 rebounds. The Raptors are off now until Boxing Day when they visit the Washington Wizards.
A new Leger poll finds just 1/3 of Canadians are feeling positive about entering the new year. When asked about their expectations for 2026, 35% think it'll be better than 2025. 37% expect the coming year will be roughly the same, and 1 in 5 said they think things will actually get worse. Leger surveyed just over 1,500 people for the poll.
As the year draws to a close, the new report shows the most searched Canadians on the internet in 2025. Well, no surprise here, Prime Minister Mark Carney topped the list of most searched Canadians, while his predecessor, Justin Trudeau, came in second. Former NDP leader Jagmeet Singh was the only other politician on the list at number 5. Homegrown pop stars Justin Bieber, Tate McRae, Drake, and Shawn Mendes also piqued curiosity of Canadians. So did film stars Ryan Reynolds, Ryan Gosling, and Rachel McAdams, rounding out the top 10.
Still to come, 2025 delivered its fair share of labor disruptions. We take a look back at several strikes that brought services to a halt across the country when we come back.
Get Toronto's top stories, breaking news alerts, and watch live. Download the CTV News app.
Questions remain about the future of Canada Post and its ability to deliver what Canadians need from the national mail carrier.
That's despite the Crown Corporation finally coming to a tentative agreement with the union representing thousands of its workers. CTV's Scott Hurst has more on how those who rely on the service are feeling.
Labor unrest between Canada Post and its union representing 55,000 postal workers and uncertainty about the future forced this Toronto small business to make a choice.
We had to go a different route this holiday season.
Retailer Province of Canada ships clothing across the country, and by turning away from Canada Post, is now relying on multiple carriers to fill the gap.
After last year's strike and then this September, we just didn't feel we had the confidence to go into the holiday season with them again.
But a tentative deal between Canada Post and the Canadian Union of Postal Workers announced on Monday may at least provide some stability.
So on the one hand, short run, good news. In the longer term, it doesn't solve the underlying structural problems.
Canada Post said the agreements include a 6.5% wage increase in year 1, a 3% hike in year 2, and increases matching inflation in years 3 through 5. They also include enhanced benefits and a weekend parcel delivery model, which had been a key sticking point in negotiations.
They are still bleeding. They are hemorrhaging incredible amounts of money. So they're a long way away from where they have to be. They've got a huge job ahead to become more dynamic and productive and competitive.
And maybe that will be enough to win back at least this Toronto business.
I think until this gets fully sorted out properly, then we can maybe reconsider going back to them for next year.
Cup W's national board is recommending its members accept the deals. Ratification votes are set to take place early next year. Scott Hurst, CTV News, Toronto.
And Canada Post hasn't been the only organization affected by labor unrest this year.
From grounded flights to delayed mail and empty classrooms, workers made their frustrations known this year with mixed results. CTV's Kathy Lee looks back on a year of intense labor disputes.
The soul of Canada's workforce rose to the surface on picket lines marked by tired feet and a demand for something better.
We're striking to keep good service and to keep good jobs. We will be here until we win.
Years of built-up frustration spilling into the streets from coast to coast. A chorus of unrest, grounded flights, slowed mail delivery, and emptied out classrooms in Alberta.
We're in a place where we've got a broken system. It's sick. It's been death by 1,000 budget cuts.
The summer of labor unrest begins on August 16th, with more than 10,000 Air Canada flight attendants walking off the job for 3 days, after a new negotiated agreement with their employer fell through.
Starting flight attendants now are making $1,900 a month in an area where rent is $2,000.
In addition to wages, at issue, employment conditions, work rules, and unpaid hours.
We're not paid anytime the aircraft is not in motion.
Pay, one of the sticking points behind the 2-week nationwide postal strike on September 25th.
Fair wages, improved health and safety, expansion of the public service, and a right to retire with dignity.
Workers also motivated to go to the picket lines after the federal government announced an end to door-to-door delivery in an effort to save a struggling Canada Post. The disruption impacting many businesses relying on the delivery service.
There's been some delays in sending out packages, and we have had to use alternative services at times.
We've essentially just have lost confidence in Canada Post.
And Alberta teachers losing confidence in the education system.
Why does Alberta, the richest province, have the poorest funded classrooms?
Tens of thousands of educators walked off the job on October 6th, wanting better wages, more support, and smaller classroom sizes.
Having to teach 37 grade 6 kids, it's too much.
We are burnt out, we are broken, the kids are not getting what they need.
Only to be forced back to work 3 weeks later after the province invoked the notwithstanding clause, overriding some rights and freedoms to pass the back to work legislation.
This has been the longest education strike in Canadian history. We were looking for a way to bring some finality to it.
The move galvanized students province-wide to walk out of their classrooms.
We're not walking out because we don't care about school. We're walking out because we care too much. We care too much to stay silent.
The students here are angry. You could really feel the emotion in the air because their teachers aren't able to strike. They've taken matters into their own hands, and they want the government to listen. They want to be heard.
Pay our teachers and give us the education we deserve because this isn't fair.
An expert says the level of recent labor disruption and strike activity across Canada hasn't been seen since the 1980s.
Workers engage in this kind of labor activism when they've been pushed too far, when they're fed up. And so they start to push back. I think what we saw in the last couple of years is a significant shift in workers' ambitions. They wanted more because of COVID, followed up by inflation. I think that really ramped up workers' expectations.
And although the strikes have caused chaos, public support for workers remained strong, even among hundreds of thousands of stranded Air Canada passengers.
I think it's okay for these guys to keep fighting.
They're asking for the bare minimum, and I think that they deserve what they're asking for.
As for what comes next for the labor unrest, no one can say for certain. But experts believe this year wasn't an end, but a beginning, a workforce finding strength, and a movement that will carry on. Kathy Lee, CTV News, Calgary.
Across the country, many Lotto Max ticket holders will be hoping for a post-Christmas miracle with a massive jackpot up for grabs. On Friday, Lotto Max will be offering up $126 million in total prizes, including a jackpot of $80 million and about 46 Max Millions prizes of $1 million each. The possible windfall comes after no one matched the 7 winning ticket numbers in last night's draw. 4 Max Millions prizes were won on tickets sold in Quebec.
It's time to play America's favorite jackpot game. This is Powerball. Good evening, America. I'm Michelle Lyle.
Meanwhile, south of the border, there was no jackpot winner in the Powerball draw, a 46th straight miss. The next chance at that jackpot is tonight, worth an estimated $1.7 billion U.S. That would be the 4th largest U.S. lottery prize in history, with the odds of winning at roughly 1 in 300 million.
Santa Claus is already on his sleigh delivering gifts on the other side of the world. Now, this is a live look at NORAD's Santa Tracker. It's a busy 24 hours for the man in red, starting in Australia and New Zealand before working his way west. Now, he's currently heading to drop off presents in Tehran after recently traveling through the United Arab Emirates. Kids can call in to a special NORAD number to speak directly with staff who can provide Santa's exact location. So far, Santa's already dropped off well over 1 billion presents.
Coming up, we visit a Toronto seniors home where residents are offering a helping hand this holiday season, stuffing bags with essentials for people experiencing homelessness. We'll have that story after the break.
Dozens of residents at a local seniors home are lending a helping hand to those in need this holiday season.
They're stuffing bags with essentials for people experiencing homelessness, an initiative started by the home's executive director during the pandemic. CTV's Mike Walker has the details.
Here's a hat. Here's a soap.
Stuffing bags full of daily essentials for people in need.
Making sure that we've got some useful things in it.
Winifred McCarthy is one of many residents at the St. Clair O'Connor community who have found a sense of purpose by volunteering to help the homeless.
I have felt rather isolated in that I sold my car before I moved in here. Lets me reach out to some of the community that really need our help.
These blessing bags are stuffed with toiletry, snacks, winter hats and gloves, as well as gift cards for coffee or food. All donated from neighboring businesses and through an Amazon wish list.
So you've got a hat right there.
A grassroots campaign dubbed Compassion Pathways started by the center's executive director, Rebecca Freeman, 4 years ago out of her home during the pandemic, motivated by her own struggles growing up.
I did experience housing instability. There were times where our heat was shut off and we didn't have food in the fridge. So for me growing up, my strongest values have been compassion and empathy. I wanted to find a small but meaningful way to be able to help during an already difficult time.
The seniors at St. Clair O'Connor community have recently taken up the cause. On this day, 30 bags are being prepared that Freeman then distributes to the homeless, as well as local shelters and support agencies like Dixon Hall.
We give it to them for intake, or if a client is running out of stuff, we normally give it. It means a lot. It goes a long way.
The impact has been incredible. I think that a lot of the individuals feel seen and they feel heard.
The bags not only contain some essentials, but also a handwritten card, words of encouragement from the senior who packed it.
Telling them that we hope they'll have a better day, that change is possible.
Freeman has so far distributed hundreds of these blessing bags.
There's no act of kindness that's too small that can really have an impact on other people.
Hoping her initiative will inspire others to support their most vulnerable neighbors. Mike Walker, CTV News.
I guess it's fair to say it's not going to be a white Christmas.
Depends on where you are. And like white Christmas is defined by a certain amount of snow on the ground by 7 a.m. Christmas morning. So we're not going to have that for a good portion of the GTA. But if you're heading up to a cottage, you're a cottage folk, you'll be able to have a little bit of snow. But we do get the white Christmas. It's just a little late. It comes on Boxing Day. But for today, if you're heading out and about, lots of sunshine out there, really beautiful. Northern Ontario getting a little snow throughout the day today. But for the most part, the GTA staying dry and relatively mild. -1 right now, feeling like -5, a fairly moderate wind. It gets quite light, a nice southerly flow this afternoon, but things change as we head into the day tomorrow. But if you're heading out tonight, listen, it's not too bad. I know, Santa, you'll be busy. So at least the forecast is agreeable. Getting in towards your Christmas Day, though, into the evening, it gets very cold. So if you're heading out, layer up accordingly, but enjoy it.
Good advice. Thank you, Jess. And that's it for CTV News at noon. Remember, you can get Toronto's breaking news all day long on CP24 and at ctvnewstoronto.ca.
For Jessica Smith and all of us here, have a pleasant afternoon. I'm Raheem Ladani.
And I'm Nathan Downer. Be sure to join us later for CTV News at 6. Have a good day.